In this video, we are going to look at the basic of XD. XD is a prototyping tool for app and website design by Adobe. It is relatively new compared to Photoshop and Illustrator, which has a very long history, but it quickly rise and become one of the best prototyping tools today for UI UX designer. It is very easy to use and you'll find it very familiar. It works somehow like Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator if you're familiar with them, since it's actually part of Adobe Creative Cloud family. First, let's look at how to get it. Please launch your browser. Key in this URL, creativecloud.adobe.com. You might not have an account, so you can sign up one for free, and all Adobe's app will come with 30 days trial. You can use that first. If you have Adobe Creative Cloud account like me, you can simply download Creative Cloud, which will make your handling your downloading and updating apps a lot easier by clicking on this and click download. But if you already have one, you just want to install XD, you can simply view all, and then it will bring you to this page, and you can simply scroll down to XD and click install to get it. Another way to get it is to launch Adobe Creative Cloud. If you already have, this is the desktop version, and you can actually scroll down all the way until this XD and hit install. Now I'm just simply going to install the app by clicking on the install button. It's moving. It's going to take a while. I'm going to fast forward this. Okay, and it's done. So once you hit install and it's done, it will go up into this list. You can simply click open to open the software. When you click on open button, it will simply launch XD and bring you to this screen. Let us go through the basic of this welcome screen. On the left, you find that there's home menu. Home is actually this screen itself, and then followed by the learn. Learn is actually a series of tutorial videos done by Adobe themselves, and pretty much will teach you almost everything that you need to know about XD regarding their software and how to do this and that tricks. I pretty much learned XD myself through this tutorial video. They're actually very helpful. You can actually go through them once you get the basic. Then cloud documents are actually where you save the file. By default, XD will save the files at Adobe Cloud, which comes with your Creative Cloud suite. Each of us should have about 100 GB of space, and which is actually a lot. And you share with you, I don't have anybody share any documents with me, so it's nothing there. Or any deleted documents. Manage link will come to that. Links are actually compiled to prototype. You can actually preview on your mobile devices or even on your top or computer. Let's go back to home. So home, on top of this, you will actually see welcome to XD and greeted with all these. What are all these? These are actually preset templates, which is in the size of phones. If you are familiar with Adobe Illustrator, you should be familiar with this as well. Is actually the concept of artboard. Artboard are like canvas where you can have different canvas pieces that you can work your art on. But for XD, it's even better because all these artboard can be linked. All these artboard have prefit sizes in pixel. You can choose, like for example, iPhone X and XS or 11 Pro, which is in this 375 by 812 pixel. Or if you can go max, which is at this resolution. If you do not want this, if you are building things for web itself, you can choose the second menu, which will give you presets of 1920 by 1080, which is the full HD resolution, or 1366 by 768, which is actually one of the popular size, or 1280 by 800, which is another smaller popular size as well. Or if you are working things for Instagram story or all your social media, there's preset templates for you as well. Or custom sizes as well. Custom sizes will let you choose what is the height and width for the artboard that you want. And then the bottom part for this, explore the power of XD. This is probably just an introduction video, which actually links to, when you click on this, it's actually inside this video, is one of these. I can't, probably the first one. Let us start by clicking on the very first menu item, which will launch the Adobe XD. When you first launch XD, this is what you will see. This is the working space for XD. Let's go through the interface itself. On the left, you'll get a list of tools, which start by an arrow, which is the selection tools, and the rectangle tool, which you draw rectangle, ellipse tool, which you can draw a circle or ellipse, or irregular shapes, polygon tool, or you want to draw a line, which is very useful as well, or you want to use a pen to draw up or some curves line. You can put text on your canvas, use text tool, followed by artboard if you want to create more artboard, which we will use this a lot. The last one is zoom in and zoom out, or you can simply use the shortcut key. That's the basic drawing tools for XD. On the bottom part, you can actually toggle between this screen. This is plugin. You can actually install more plugin by click on this discover plugins. Toggle to this all the layers inside your every artboard. The last one is the presets for your items, which you can change the component very fast. We will come to that much later. So as you can see, when you click here, it actually toggles this. Then on the right side itself is actually the property tabs. It changes according to these tools that you select. So we are on the selection tool, and this is what you see. Basically, it's a layout and repeat grid and stuff. Then if you click on this drawing tool, you can actually draw on this. When I start clicking on this, and all this will change. I can simply pull a radius for the box, and you notice that the figures will reflect immediately, and there are actually a lot of options for you to choose what you want it to be. This is ellipse as well. If I draw this, immediately this panel, property panels, will reflect and shows at which tools I'm actually on. If you see that I put some text in here, immediately you switch to this text tool. I can very quickly change the properties of it. Each canvas is representing one design. You can actually have multiple canvas, which we need to have when we start working on this XD itself. At this stage now, we only have one artboard. We can go ahead and save our project. It will be saved to the Cloud Documents folder. I'll just call this demo. And it even gives in the time that when I save this. Next, we want to look at artboard itself. Let me drag this to make more space for us to work on. You can simply zoom out. I'm going to just use shortcut key. It's the same as Photoshop and Illustrator, space, alternate, and your command key to zoom in and zoom out. Should we want more artboard? There are two ways to create the artboard. One is simply click on it and you notice that the preset size actually turn out, which we will use this. If we click on this and it simply create the next artboard itself. Or you can actually have a custom size, which you select the artboard and you notice that the cursor changed there, and it actually there's a snap to the next artboard so that they are aligned. You can simply click and drag how big or small the artboard is. You can also change the size based on what you want. You can have it long or have it in a very big size if you are designing for iPad, or simply web on your laptop screen. Or you can simply change the values here to reflect it. Let me put in 1280 by, the height should be 720. This X is actually this position, Y is the height, Y is the length of the top. You can simply drag them if you want. You notice that the figure will change. So that is how artboard is being controlled. Let's put back to 1280. Yep. You can also change whether it's scrolling vertical or horizontal or no scrolling. Or the appearance, the fill color, you can swap to whatever fill color that you want. You can simply use the selection tools to click on an artboard and then simply move it around. Or you can select a different artboard and pan around, holding up to your space bar, and you can shift your whole working space around. Let's say I want to change it to the orientation. By using this selection tool, I select the artboard. I can simply switch between vertical, portrait, or landscape mode. For all preset templates with the fixed width and height, you can actually change the vertical scrolling and which you set and lock your viewport height. Viewport height is actually the screen size that you see on your phone. So when you change the height, you notice that you can actually pull it down here, and you notice this line and this marking here. This marking indicates the end of the screen. So when you have something, content longer than that, you can simply just extend and have your content longer. When you preview it later in your prototyping mode, in the preview mode here, it will appear that your content can be scrolled. That is a scrolling function. The next on the item is actually the background, the appearance. When you select this artboard, you can click on this field to change the background color by simply clicking on this color picker. I'm just going to set it to something like this color. Light green. Knowing how to use grid in your design work shows the difference between an amateur and a real designer. It is important for almost all design disciplines, from print to web as well as app design. XD makes this really easy for us by simply clicking on a button. So you can toggle on the grid by clicking on this. In grid system itself, XD gives us two options. One is the layout, which it divides into columns, and the other one is square. Square grid is a bit like the older Photoshop and Illustrator, where you can do your free-form, loose design, but you still have some grid as a base guide. You can set the square size, the tiny square size, in any size you want. By default, it's set at 8 for you. You can turn it to 12, 15, or even 30, up to you. Okay, let's turn back to the layout form. XD gives us 4 column system by default. You can toggle it and change it to 3 column system, or 6 column system would be the most useful, I find, because you can divide by 3, which will turn it into 2 column system, or you can occupy 2 column, 2 column, 2 column and turn it into a 3 column system design. Of course, we can change the gutter width. Gutter width, this 10 pixel between each columns. You can change it to the figure you want, say 8 pixel, it will become smaller, and the column width size will reflect accordingly. Right now, by default, the edge for the left and right is set at 34 in this. I can change the figure to 30, which will change my column gutter width or my column width. If you notice that there's two options, one is either you just want to lock the left and right, show the left and right at this pixel width, and the top and bottom is actually set at 0. If you click on this, I can also add in the space in between top and bottom. In this way, I want to put in 60 pixel for the top and the bottom at 60 pixel as well. So the space will space out 60 pixel on top and bottom. The order is top, right, bottom, left. That's grid system for you in XD. Once I'm happy with the design that I want to do, I can actually click this button for preview, and it will actually preview it on the desktop itself. Or I can actually preview it on my phone if you have XD installed on your phone or device. You should actually install XD on your phone or on your preview devices through App Store or Google Play Store. Once you install it, you can actually launch it, open it, and then log in with your same Adobe Creative Cloud account, and then you can actually access the same way since you save your file on the cloud drive. I have saved it to demo, so when I click on tap on demo, it will actually bring up the demo which I just did, and I can see my demo which I just did and even scroll. This is a good way for prototyping, and triple tap will actually bring me back to the menu itself so that I can exit the prototype mode. So this is a very good way for us to preview our work. Now you can actually try yourself and get familiarized with XD, create some canvas, create some artboard, and then draw something and then try to have it preview on the computer as well as on your screen itself before we jump onto the next lesson.